Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're doing something incredibly practical in this explainer. Pull up a chair because we are going to dive right in, hands-on, and totally demystify Google Chrome developer tools together. Honestly, if you've ever accidentally hit a wrong key and suddenly felt completely intimidated by that massive wall of code and flashing panels, do not worry. By the time we wrap up today, we'll both feel right at home navigating this absolute powerhouse of a toolkit.
All right, let's look at our roadmap for today. We'll hit 1. Meet your development environment. 2. Exploring elements and resources. 3. Live coding in the console. 4. Steps to debug live code, which is really going to be our main hands-on focus. And finally, 5. Mastering the console drawer. Let's get right into it. Section 1, Meet your development environment. We are officially making the jump from just writing static code to actively messing around with it in the wild.
There is a core philosophy here that we really need to internalize. Think about this. Your browser is more than just a window to the web. It is your primary development environment. Before you write a single line of production code, you absolutely have to know your way around the workshop you're building it in. This is where your logic is tested, where it's pushed to the absolute limit, and ultimately where it gets fixed. So how do we actually get in there? Well, it's beautifully simple. You just press F12. Go ahead and literally imagine hitting that F12 key on your keyboard right now. When you do, this pop-up pane slides right into view. And yeah, okay, it looks pretty daunting at first glance. There are tons of tabs, flashing network requests, just a lot of scary-looking text. But here is the secret. It is actually highly intuitive. You only need to focus on a few key areas to get massive value out of it, and we are going to cut right through all that extra noise today. Moving right along to Section 2, Exploring Elements and Resources. Let's look at the specific tabs we actually need to care about on a day-to-day basis. First up, we've got the Elements tab. This is your go-to for inspecting HTML. As you just hover your mouse over the different HTML tags in this panel, the browser actually highlights that corresponding section directly on your live web page. It's so cool because it brilliantly illustrates the exact relationship between your raw code and the final visual layout. It's basically X-ray vision for the internet. Next to that is the Resources tab, or sometimes you'll see it called the Sources tab. If you right-click a JavaScript file and open it up in here, you can view the actual loaded files currently running on your site. There's no guesswork. You are literally looking at the scripts executing in real time. Next up, Section 3, Live Coding in the Console. We are now entering the absolute heart and soul of JavaScript development. You know, the console is so much more than just a place to read error logs. It's a total playground for live execution. That means you can type JavaScript straight into your browser and run it instantly without ever having to refresh the page or save a file. It is your live, breathing testing ground. Let me give you the absolute simplest example of how immediate this is. If you open up the console right now and just type out the number 7 minus 4, it instantly returns 3. You don't need to write a full script, you don't compile anything, you don't even reload the window. You just get immediate feedback. And let me tell you, that instant feedback loop is incredibly empowering when you just need to quickly verify a piece of logic or test out a new JavaScript method.
All right, Section 4, Steps to debug live code. This is the main event for our explainer today. Everything we've covered leads right up to this, our hands-on approach to hunting down and squashing bugs.
Look, when you're coding, things are going to break. It happens to everyone. And the console is your absolute best friend when it does. Now, you will often see this glaring, bright red text pop up, but we really need to normalize that. Those red error messages, they're not disasters. They are incredibly helpful signposts pointing exactly to what went wrong. For instance, an uncut syntax error usually just means you're missing a simple bracket or parentheses. Or a reference error often means you're trying to use a variable that just isn't defined yet. Learning to just read these calmly instead of panicking is the real secret to mastering debugging.
So, the absolutely crucial thing here is having a systematic approach. Let's walk through this highly procedural, repeatable methodology for tackling literally any bug you run into. Step 1, trigger the error. Do whatever user action actually causes the code to break. Step 2, read that red console error carefully. Figure out, is it a syntax error, a reference error? See what the browser is trying to tell you. And then step 3, this is the best part. Click the line number. The console is so smart, it gives you a direct clickable link to the exact line of code in the Sources tab that threw the error. Clicking it teleports you right to the scene of the crime, so you can fix it immediately.
Let's actually look at a practical debugging scenario by comparing two basic commands. If you go in and type alert hello with absolutely no quotation marks, the browser is going to throw a reference error. Why? Well, because it thinks you're referencing a variable named hello.
and it obviously can't find one. But if you catch that, correct your code, and type alert hello with the quotation marks, the browser knows for sure you're passing a string. This is exactly the kind of real-time logic testing you're going to be doing every single day. Finally, Section 5, Mastering the Console Drawer. I love this one because it's a brilliant pro tip that bridges everything we've just learned into one seamless workflow.
So the console drawer is this awesome feature that lets you view your HTML and run your JavaScript simultaneously. You don't have to keep clicking back and forth between the Elements tab and the Console tab, constantly losing your place. Nope. Just by clicking that little angle bracket icon while you're in the Elements tab, a mini console, the drawer, pops up right at the bottom of your screen.
This opens up a ridiculously powerful real-world workflow. Here is exactly how you use it. First, you look at your static HTML structure in the top panel and find an ID you want to mess with. Let's say a div with the ID of content. Then you just drop down to your console drawer right below it. As you start typing out your JavaScript, you'll actually get IntelliSense popping up, giving you auto-completion suggestions to really speed things up. You type out document.getElementByID content, hit enter, and boom, you receive instant DOM feedback. The console hands that exact HTML div right back to you. You're literally looking at the static structure and manipulating it with JavaScript on the exact same screen. It's a total game changer.
And that brings us to the end of today's explainer. Remember, taking a little bit of time to really master these developer tools right now is going to save you literally hours of frustration down the road. Once you get totally comfortable navigating that Elements tab, firing off test code in the live console, and using our step-by-step method for tracking down bugs, you are absolutely ready to start writing robust, production-level code. So the only question I have left for you is, what will you build? And more importantly, debug next. Go ahead, open up Chrome, hit F12, and just start practicing. Keep learning, and I'll see you in the next explainer.